All right, what's up, everybody? Danny Bear here. Ooh, sorry, I had to clear my throat a little bit. I want to make this quick video. I was talking to somebody earlier today about Google Ads or Google Organic, SEO versus Bing for motivated sellers. So, wanted to weigh in on this a little bit. A lot of times, you will hear real estate investors say things like, I want to put more focus on Bing because I think older people use Bing. I think that Bing is more kind of like the common population for someone that's going to sell to an investor. So, there's this kind of like feeling out there that like Bing is going to be slightly more targeted for the kind of deals that investors are doing, motivated seller deal, that kind of thing. So, is that true? Yes or no? I actually didn't really know that. So we decided to test this. And we've been testing Bing pretty solidly for about a year. So what is the deal with Bing? Do we think Bing is a viable lead source? Let's kind of divide this question up in two because it really kind of depends on what angle you're looking at. Let's talk about SEO in terms of like organic marketing. Now, I don't tend to really separate what we do for Google SEO and what we do for Bing SEO because they're basically the same. So like anything you're going to do for your Google SEO, Bing is going to pick up on. I'm sure there are a lot of differences in terms of kind of like the how the algorithms weigh certain things and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is Google is what, like 85 to 90% of the search market. So Google's where you're going to spend your time doing SEO. When we're talking about do we want to spend time as investors going after motivated sellers on Bing, what we're really talking about is advertising dollars. Do I want to spend money in order to go after searchers on Bing, paid traffic wise? And Bing is a really interesting case study. So Bing is on average much cheaper than you're going to get within Google Ads. So I would say it's anywhere from like 30% to 40% cheaper per click. Now, it depends on the market. There are some markets where the cost is actually very kind of even out, but generally Bing is going to be significantly cheaper when you're going after kind of the classic motivated seller keyword. Now, here's like the flip side of that. Generally, that Bing traffic is going to be far less engaged. They're going to click less often. They're going to convert less often. And in many ways, I actually see the Bing traffic for motivated sellers as being much more similar to Facebook than it is to Google. And I'm not 100% sure why that is. Now, the core reason that a lot of people say, like, hey, let's go after Bing, obviously you've got the sort of cost difference where it's going to be cheaper. There's going to be less competition from other investors. It's a less common advertising channel. That's certainly true. This idea that like older people use Bing. Now it's true that if you look at like the demographic data for Bing users, it generally skews older, meaning that, older folks are using Bing. Bing is like kind of the default search engine for Internet Explorer. Is Internet Explorer still a thing? It's totally still a thing. Anyway, it's the default kind of search engine for a lot of Microsoft products. And so it's like the idea is like, hey, who is less likely to change up the default browser? It's older people. Okay, that could totally be true. But when you actually look at cost per deal acquisition, so when you look at like the actual costs it's going to take, like some, like for example, AdWords Nerds, we're running your ads for you, right? We're doing your marketing. It's going to take us basically the same amount of money. Actually, more money. It's going to take us more money to acquire a deal via Bing than it is to acquire a deal via Google, even though Google is more expensive per click. Why is that? It's simply because the traffic is less engaged. And I'm not 100% sure why that is. It could be because, hey, they really are older and they just engage with ads less often. It could be that older folks are a little shy of doing the whole like online home transaction thing. That could be a case. There's a lot of market education that's happening right now with younger generations, sort of like younger boomers and below, in terms of iBuyers and all that stuff. I'm not 100% sure why that is. Now, I will preface this by saying, as a preface, I'm like 30 quarters of the way through this video already, so who knows. I will say, look, like I'm the AdWords person. Maybe we're just not as good at Bing as other people. But the way I view Bing is Bing is definitely a secondary or tertiary channel, right? It is nice to have if you've got significant budget and you're not hitting your budget cap in Google and you're sort of maxing out Google. Bing is something we roll out, and we roll out Bing campaigns for clients all the time, right? So we do this all the time. Obviously, I think it's a valuable channel, but it's got to make sense for you in terms of your overall budget, your overall strategy. I mean, obviously, if you want to talk strategy, you can always talk to our team at motivatedsellerleads.com, right? So you go to motivatedsellerleads.com, you just pop in your email, you can talk to someone on our team, we can figure it out for you. But generally for me, it's one of those things where I'm like, cool, I like it, I dig it, but it's not one of the primary channels. Now, I will say, we are in the process of change right now, folks. I mean, if you look at what Facebook is doing for real estate investors, that stuff is in a lot of flux. And so the place that Facebook has held for real estate investors specifically is really changing. And so Bing is one of those things where we're actually investing more time and effort into it because we don't know where it's going to go. And hey, that may be the channel. But for right now, less profitable than Google Ads. Hey, if you're in a really competitive market, it might be worth a look. And if you're not hitting your budget cap in Google and you're maxing that out, also something worth thinking about. So that is Google versus Bing. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'd be happy to talk to you, and I'll talk to you very soon. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.